back with another video. So I found this video online. I seen other reactors do it and stuff like that. This is called The History of Japan. So he gives a breakdown of the history of Japan. I don't know. Let's see. Wow.
They actually dropped 2.
Wow. Is this the end of the video?
United States installed a new government.
Wow. Yo, I don't know if you can watch it in Japanese, but that was very interesting. Wow, the history of Japan. Wow. I can't say anything else. I mean, I'll check with I'll check to see if the history is correct, but I think it might be. I'm not sure, but it sounds correct as far as the history that they feed us in the books that they give us. Wow, that was big. That was big. I gotta digest that. Wow. Wow. All right, I'm gonna go watch something a little bit funnier. On to the next.